Hello and welcome to Tech for Non-Techies, the only podcast that demystifies the fast-growing technology sector. I'm your host, Sophia Matveeva, Chicago-based MBA and tech entrepreneur. My aim here is to give you the skills, knowledge and confidence to find opportunities in the tech sector, whether that's through founding a company, getting a dream job, or bringing a fresh perspective to your work.
Hello, smart people. How are you today? I'm recording this from London, where the weather is glorious. It's a surprise week of summer in late September. I want to start today's episode with a quote from the glorious Dita von Teese, who said that you can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches. This phrase came to mind when I was teaching a workshop on fundraising for non-technical founders a few days ago. One of the reasons why I think fundraising is mentally grueling is that you're putting your idea, your creativity, and also your vision of the world out there for people to judge. When somebody does not want to be part of your vision of the world, it's really easy to have your confidence knocked. And that's why it really helps to remember the wise words of Dita von Teese. Today, I want to share some of the key learnings from this week's workshop on fundraising for non-technical founders. Obviously, if you're a founder or an investor, you need to listen to this. But I also think that if you work in a big company and you're leading an innovation project, then your corporate bosses are your investors, or the board of the company act like investors. So the more you learn how to sell your vision, the better off you'll be. Also, my dears, next week, I'm going to host a free session for you called Break into Tech, masterclass for non-technical founders. We will go through the core concepts you need to go from idea to product, and the typical and expensive mistakes that non-technical founders make. Most of these mistakes are avoidable, so come to the class and save yourself time, money and stress. Register at techfornontechies.co/free class, and you can also get that link in the show notes. I want to begin by saying that fundraising should not be the aim. If you're a founder, you're raising money to build a business. The aim is to build a sustainable business, and that means products that users love and keep on using, and a business model that allows you to pay people and to pay yourself. External funding is a tool that can help you to get there, or it can help you get there faster, but remember that it's just a means to an end. It is possible to build a scalable, global technology business without external funds. If you want to see an example of this, then go listen to the interview that Tim Ferriss recently did with Sir James Dyson. Dyson, the company behind vacuum cleaners, air hand dryers and other brilliant electrical goodies, is still privately held by Sir James. Sir James had outside investors in his first company, and he did not enjoy the experience, which he talks about in Tim Ferriss's podcast. So he chose not to repeat that experience at Dyson. I have also raised money for my first tech company, but so far I have not taken on any external investors at Tech for Non-Techies. And I've actually had investors write cold emails to me and ask for meetings, which, to be fair, I take, especially if they come with lunch somewhere very nice. But because I know just how much work dealing with investors is, I am currently choosing not to take that route. I might take it later, but the reason why I'm telling you this is that I want you to know that once you raise money and actually in your bank account, you then have investors and you have a whole heap of new work and obligations to deal with and a whole heap of other people to deal with. However, if you have decided that you want to raise money from investors for your tech venture and you don't have a technical background, then let's make sure that you are prepared. There is, unfortunately, still a stigma around non-technical founders. Some of it comes from the stupid belief that unless you look like Mark Zuckerberg on paper, you're not worth investing in. Well, that is just dumb, and I can't help you with that. So investors who think like that, just ignore them and remember that there are plenty of others out there. But some of the concerns around non-technical founders come from the very legitimate investor worry that as a non-technical founder, you don't know what you're doing. So you don't know how to estimate costs, you don't know how to set product goals, you don't know how to hire the right people, and so investors think that you're quite likely to waste their money making mistakes. And as a non-technical founder myself, I have made plenty of mistakes. I have also worked with a lot of non-technical founders and taught them at London Business School and at the Blackstone Techstars Launchpad Accelerator. And honestly, I can tell you that these investor concerns are correct. So if you are an investor and you're listening to this, you are right to view non-technical founders as risky because many of them make the same mistakes, especially at the very early stages. But the answer to this is not for the founders to learn to build products with their bare hands and become full-stack developers. I mean, if this is what a founder wants to do, then sure, go for it. But I just want you to know that this is not what you have to do. What you need to do instead is you need to learn how tech products like apps, sites, and algorithms get built. Learn core concept, like what is an API? Why does the backend take longer to build? How do you test a prototype? Learn who does what on a product team so you can work with them effectively. This will allow you to set product metrics and talk coherently about product strategy. If you can set out a clear product vision and explain why you're working towards certain metrics or why you're testing a specific hypothesis, then you won't sound like a non-technical founder. You need to learn enough about technology to be able to link product metrics to business metrics. So here is an example that most of you are going to recognize. Facebook is free for you to use, but we all know that it makes a hell of a lot of money. Facebook measures how engaged users are with their apps. So for example, they ask, what is the average time that people spend using the Instagram iPhone app? Time in app is literally an engagement metric. An engagement metric is a product metric because it measures the success of a product. It shows how much people use the product, but listen to this, it tells you nothing about the business. It does not talk to you about money. Facebook then translates this engagement metric, which is all about the product, into profit. They ask, how much advertising can we serve to a user within that time frame? So when they are engaged in our product, how much advertising, which advertisers pay us for, how much advertising can we serve? This is a business metric. It is about money. Non-technical founders often talk about business metrics in their pitches, but they have no clue about how their product relates to it. Technical founders, on the other hand, often like talking about the features they're going to build with investor money, but forget the business side. And let me tell you, neither of these approaches is complete. The holy grail is understanding how product metrics link to business metrics. I am covering core concepts like this in the masterclass next week, so if your ears are perking up, then make sure to register at techfornontechies.co/free class. The truth is that many investors don't care about whether you built the product with your bare hands. What they care about is that it works, that it is getting some traction, and that it has a business model around it that makes sense. It is very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to become a coder or get a technical co-founder to even get started. And this is simply not true. There are plenty of examples on this very podcast of non-technical founders who have raised millions and built successful businesses without technical co-founders. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't great to have a supportive, smart partner in your business. That would be wonderful. I'm just saying that it isn't healthy to pin all your hopes on one person coming to join you, and then if they do, then all of your prayers will be answered, and then it's just happiness forever. I have learned that in business, as in love, this is a recipe for disaster. In an earlier episode, you can hear from Alexandra Zubko, who has built a global software as a service business called ripest with 2 other non-technical founders, and they have raised $28 million to date. So pretty impressive. You can also hear on this very podcast from Robin Exton, a non-technical founder and Y Combinator alumna who has built a dating community for queer women, and she has raised millions from Silicon Valley investors. In this podcast, you can also hear from non-technical founders who have built AI businesses, content platforms, and marketplaces, and they have been backed by VCs and angel investors. You know the Silicon Valley story of 2 coder dudes in a garage. You know the story. The story is very prevalent. The non-technical founder story is not that well known. But I want you to know that it doesn't mean that it isn't there. I'm sharing these stories here with you, my dear smart person, so you can see that there are things that are possible for you, which maybe you assumed were not. So if you are on this journey, remember that part of it is staying on a road where you will face a few knocks. This is why getting inspired by people you can identify with is so important. I mean, if they did it, why can't you? You totally can. Next week's free class is going to help with this. It is for people who want to build tech ventures or invest in them but don't have technical backgrounds. The session is called Break into Tech, Masterclass for Non-Technical Founders. We will go deeper on the concepts I covered today and go through the costliest mistakes that non-technical founders make so you can avoid them and save yourselves thousands of dollars because you're a smart person and a listener to this podcast. Register at techfornontechies.co/free class. That's techfornontechies.co/free class, or just go to the link in the show notes. And my dear, if you're loving what you're learning, because who wouldn't, then come and join us as a member at Tech for Non-Techies. Our membership is your guide in the jargon-filled world of tech. We have live sessions and masterclasses with expert teachers. You also get coaching sessions with me and learning notes on key aspects of technology like AI, product management, and the app economy. Our members include alumni of Harvard, Oxford, and the University of Chicago. People who are buying companies, building businesses, and leading innovation. And honestly, this is pretty cool, and I'm very proud. If you want to join us, then check us out at techfornontechies.co/membership. That's it for now, my darlings, and I will speak to you next week. Have a fabulous day. Ciao.